Hello folks, this is Sullla speaking. You're listening to another video for League of Legends. In this video we're going to be looking at the reworked Kayle as played by Myth, or Mythradorri, the full name, but he goes by Myth. This is taken from a normal draft pick mode game. Myth is going to be playing as Kayle in this one. Also in the game we have a jungle Kayn, Morgana mid, Ezreal bot, and a Soraka support. Let's go ahead and set up the game. And then on the other side it looks like we're going to have Illaoi top, Rek'Sai jungle, LeBlanc mid, Kog'Maw, and Lulu in the bottom lane. Kog'Maw Lulu, that's a good bottom lane pairing, but that's not where the focus is going to be in this game. We're going to be looking at this matchup as played by Myth, and we're going to be seeing the reworked Kayle. If you've been following the league scene, you probably saw that Kayle recently got a long-awaited rework to her abilities. They have kept kind of the basic idea of the champion intact, which is that Kayle is a scaling champion. She is very, very weak in her early game. She is essentially an AD, like a ranged AD, but one that is not ranged. She starts out the game as a melee champion, and then as she levels up, eventually she becomes a ranged champion. So that's effectively a good way to think of her, as basically an AD carry that starts out not even being ranged. Now the trade-off for that is as she gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on, eventually she becomes one of the strongest champions in the game. She is kind of like Kassadin in that regard, although more like old Kassadin, who just had horrendously bad laning. But if you made it to level 16, he was pretty much unstoppable, and that is what the new Kayle is. My understanding is she is probably going to get some nerfs in the next patch because she is a little bit overtuned right now, and we'll get a good example of seeing how that is in this game. But basically, Kayle, very weak early on. Don't let her reach late game because she becomes an absolute monster as the game goes on. This game, Myth is going to be up against an Illaoi player up here in the top lane. At some point I'll have to do an Illaoi video because I haven't talked much about that champion. So we'll get to see some Illaoi gameplay in this one. I'm going to start by looking at Kayle's passive because much of her gameplay revolves around her leveling up and getting extra abilities via her passive. So let's highlight that. You can see there's a lot of text here. Let me see if I can scroll the screen down so you can still see Myth as I put this on here. Alright, passive is Divine Ascent. Kayle's attacks rank up as she gains levels and as she spends skill points. At level 1, she kind of has like a Rage Blade passive, which means that basic attacks will stack. Your basic attacks increase attack speed by 6% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. So you'll see this counter right here. This is Kayle's passive. She kind of like has a permanent Rage Blade on her at all times in that she gets additional attack speed with more attacks. Also kind of like Jax, if you've played Jax, the champion also gets kind of a attack speed stacking ability. So it stacks up to 5 times. At level 1, she gets 6% attack speed with each one of those stacks. You can get up to 30% bonus attack speed when you have all 5 of them up. And at max stacks, Kayle becomes something called Exalted, which at level 1 gains 15% movement speed towards enemy champions, gets more abilities as she goes on. Now right here, you might note this Myth just standing in place. That's because he has disconnected. And as a result, he just stands in place as the Rek'Sai comes top and kills him for first blood. So this is kind of the worst setup imaginable for a Kayle. Kayle is already a weak laning champion, and Myth disconnected at the beginning of this game and has now also given up first blood. I suppose if there's a small mercy, it's that this first blood went to the Rek'Sai, who is the jungler, and not to his laning opponent, who is the Illaoi. But so Myth's back here now, and look, Illaoi's even denying more minions on the tower. If she sticks around long enough, she might even be able to get a tower plate, but fortunately, Myth does have teleport, so he's going to be able to get at least some of this farm, although not much of it. Most of that wave was indeed lost. So he is quite far behind in this lane due to that disconnect, and is going to have to play from behind on a champion who is very, very weak in the early game to begin with. Alright, so we mentioned the passive. We'll come back to this because you get more abilities at higher levels, but we'll talk about them as they appear. So, like I said, stacking attack speed on the passive. At max stacks, which is 5, become Exalted, gain bonus movement speed when moving towards enemy champions. So you get a chasing passive. Right here, we're seeing a trade between Myth and Illaoi, and one mistake that Illaoi did is she should have gone back and bought after she shoved into the tower, because like, she's used all of her corruption potion charges. She really should have gone back and spent that money, because now we're going to see an extended trade. They're both getting very low. Myth's on 1 hit, Illaoi's on 1 hit, but Myth is going to flash, and he's going to claim that kill. And again, part of the reason why that happened is Illaoi did not back after shoving the minion wave into the tower. She had just gone back to base and bought and spent that gold that she had picked up. Illaoi was sitting on 1,000 gold. She would have gotten her corruption potion charges back and she would be able to come back to lane with more items. So that was just a godsend for Myth that he was able to get that kill, largely due to the fact that Illaoi was already at, like, I don't know, 2/3 health and was almost out of corruption potion charges, whereas Myth was able to come back full health. And he even had 1 attack speed dagger because he'd had a chance to buy. Alright, let's look at some of these abilities. Let's start with Kayle's E, because this is the ability that Myth is leveling up first, the one that you use most often in laning phase. Has a passive ability. Passive attacks deal bonus magic damage. Note that there appears to be both physical and magic damage scaling on that. So as you get more physical and magic damage, your attacks just deal bonus magic damage. This is the basis of the on-hit Kayle build, which is what most people go with Kayle. You pick up items like Gnasher's Tooth and Rage Blade that give you on-hit effects. There's also an active function. Kayle's next attack becomes ranged and deals a percentage of the target's missing health as bonus magic damage. Upgrades when Kayle reaches level 6, causing it to explode when it hits the target, deals damage to nearby enemies. So again, Kayle starts out melee. She can use her E to get 1 ranged attack every 8 or so seconds. And you just saw it right there. Actually, no, I think that was the Q right there. But yeah, can use 1 ranged attack every few seconds. And it also has that effect where you deal bonus magic damage on hit. So that's the basic idea behind that, and Myth is scaling this up first. Not too useful early on, just an ability to actually hit something at range and get some additional damage, but very, very useful scaling later on, because as Kayle builds more items, it's going to add more and more and more damage via that passive on the Starfire Spellblade. Let's look next at the Q, because this is the other kind of active ability that you'll see Kayle using in lane. Radiant Blast. Kayle summons a Celestial Sword that stops on the first enemy hit. Sword deals magic damage to the target and enemies behind it. Here comes Rek'Sai, but I mean, Mist right under his tower. He actually has his ult up because he's level 6, so he shouldn't be in any danger. Summons a sword, stops on the first enemy hit, deals magic damage to the target enemies behind it, slows and also shreds armor and magic resist by 20% for 3 seconds. Again, another ranged ability. There's the sword right there. That was the graphic if you saw that little blade fly out and hit the target. And right there afterwards was the E, the Starfire Spellblade coming out. So again, this gives Kayle some ranged ability. It's probably most useful for the armor and magic resistant shred, and also the slow effect. So this is part of what makes Kayle good at chasing. She gets bonus movement speed towards enemies at max stacks on her passive, and she also can slow on her Q. So it makes it relatively easy for her to chase people down. Myth has also hit level 6, so we need to talk about what his passive has given him. Again, try to keep this on the screen so you can actually see what's going on. Level 6, Aflame, Exalted attacks. So Exalted is when you're at max stacks on your passive. Exalted attacks launch fire waves that deal magic damage, and you might have seen these flying out from Myth here. So whenever he's at max stacks, his auto attacks will shoot out these waves of flame that deal bonus magic damage. Great for wave clearing, really good at pushing through minion waves. If Kayle is alone in a side lane, she can clear the minions really quickly once she has this up. There's the E again, the Starfire Sunblade, and right now Myth is Exalted, and so you see those waves of fire coming out from his auto attacks, adding additional damage to his attacks. Let's just cover the last one of his abilities here. This is the W. This is your 1-point skill on Kayle, something that you will skill up last on a Kayle build. Celestial Blessing. Kayle and target allied champion are healed for such and such health and gain movement speed for 2 seconds. So this is also part of why Kayle very good at chasing people down. As we see the Q, what's the name of this ability? The Radiant Blast shootout from Myth right there. This is part of why, again, Kayle is so good at chasing. Bonus movement speed on her passive when moving towards enemies, a speed up on herself for more movement speed, and then the slow on her Q that allows her to... it's just very hard to get away from people when Kayle is using these abilities, and if Kayle's a red buff, even harder to get away from her. So, as I said, quite good at chasing people down, and again, has the great scaling. What you're seeing right now is Illaoi is zoning Myth away from this minion wave. Myth is basically out of mana. He is not strong enough to come out and contest this, so he was just waiting for the wave to push the tower. Had to be patient there, and just took the safer play, which was not to try to fight Illaoi out away from tower. You need to play very defensively when you're playing as Kayle, because she is very, very weak in the early game. We can't stress this enough. It is a very good idea if you are a jungler to try ganking Kayle. Like right here, we're going to see the opposite. Kane's going to come in. So conversely, it's really good if you can get your Kayle player ahead. So Illaoi ults, Myth's going to have to back off here. Kane is getting low, but Myth is going to pop forward. He's going to toss out that blade, and then Kane is going to ult. and he is able to pick that up. Myth also had his ultimate up, but he actually couldn't use it because he didn't have enough mana. His ult costs 100. Ult costs 100 mana. He did not have enough mana to use that, so I had to play that very carefully. But Kayn does get the kill, and Myth is able to pick up an assist. And meanwhile, Illaoi is going to lose out on more farm because she's dead and not there to claim this. So good stuff happening here across the board for Myth. He is getting past his earliest levels. He still has a way to go. Kayle kind of starts to activate at around level 11, which is fairly far into a game of League of Legends. She is super weak before she hits level 11. But he's getting closer. He's level 8 right now. He's gotten past the weakest part of the Kayle experience. And he's also starting to get some items that are going to be useful for later on. He has gotten the Slightly Magical Boots, which appears after 10 minutes, so has picked that up. And he also is getting closer to finishing his Gnasher's Tooth, which is the first key item on Kayle. While we've got a second here, let's look at Kayle's ultimate, Divine Judgment. This is similar to what it was before, but has a few minor tweaks. Kayle makes an allied champion invulnerable for 2 seconds, then after a cast time, she purifies the area around them, dealing magic damage to nearby enemies. So the plus is, unlike Kayle's old ultimate, which just made someone invulnerable for X amount of seconds, I think 2 seconds at first, and a little bit more with more points in the skill. So it still retains the invulnerability, has gained this new purification of the area around them. It deals magic damage around the target after 2 seconds, so it gained that ability. However, the trade-off is Kayle, if she ults herself, she can no longer auto-attack while she is ulted. So that's the trade-off. I believe this is the same for other champions. I know it is the case for Kayle. I believe it's the case for other champions too. When the Kayle bubble is on you, you can't auto-attack. So no, you can't put this on a Twitch and then have him spray and pray everybody and have him completely safe for the next 2 seconds. We do have a trade going on right here, so Myth gets off the initial combo and then goes back in. Now Illaoi has ulted, but there's the Kayle ult right there, deals that magic damage, allowing Myth to dodge the worst damage from the Illaoi ultimate, and picks up that kill pretty easily there, all things considered. Normally Illaoi is a very difficult opponent to duel, but Myth pops the ult, protects himself from 2 seconds, I believe right when those tentacles were about to land on him and deal a lot of damage, and so manages to avoid it, and then just auto-attack, 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 tossing in the E for the bonus magic damage, making use of that passive on there. The 30 was at 30 plus 12 plus 8, so that's 50 bonus magic damage already. And we're relatively early in the game. That's going to add up to quite a lot as the game goes on. But net effect, Myth gets a kill in lane, so now he's gotten 2 kills. He also picked up 2 turret plates on kind of the back end of that. So looking quite strong as a result. Now he is going to get ganked here and does not have ward coverage. Let's see if he's going to be able to escape this. Going back to his tower, and looks like he is going to be just fine. So Rek'Sai has come top a couple times, but aside from the First Blood, it has not been very effective in this game. And there's not like Myth could really do a lot about that First Blood because he was disconnected from the game. Sitting on 1900 gold, should maybe think about shoving out this minion wave and then going back to buy. Also is getting close to level 11, which is a key power point for Kayle. Meanwhile, we've got a Kayn gank coming in. It's a nice flash from Illaoi, avoids the knockup, so not going to get caught by that. Let's look at what Myth's going to get at level 11 here, just while we've got a second, shall we? Alright, level 11, Arisen. Attack range is increased to 550, and exalted attack speed per stack increased to 10%. So this is the biggest power spike for Kayle when she hits level 11. Suddenly, she becomes a ranged champion. Instead of being melee, her range increases to 550, which is not a ton, but it at least makes her a ranged champion. It gives her the range of, I believe that's like the range of some of the ADs that have like shorter range. I'm trying to think of some of the ones that are a little bit on the low end. And it's escaping me at the moment, unfortunately. So like at the low end of what, maybe like Ezreal's auto attack range, roughly. I'm not 100% sure what Ezreal's is, but I think it's right around that. So gets, you know, a fairly standard ranged AD attack range at 550, and then the exalted attack speed per stack goes up from 6% per stack to 10%. So if you're at max stacks and you're exalted, you are doing, you are getting 50% bonus attack speed instead of 30% bonus attack speed. And there it is. Myth has just hit level 11. There is the graphical effect. You see the big ray of light. Kayle's graphic changes so that she has 2 pairs of wings instead of 1 pair of wing. And now she's a ranged champion. And so she doesn't have to sit up right next to people as a melee champ. Furthermore, this is an even bigger power spike for Myth because not only has he hit level 11, he's also picked up the key item on Kayle, which is Gnasher's Tooth. Attack speed, ability power, cooldown reduction, and basic attacks deal bonus magic damage on hit. Naturally, that stacks with the bonus magic damage on hit from the Starfire Spellblade passive. So he's getting, what, 60 bonus magic damage on hit from his E, and then another 30 magic damage on hit from the Gnasher's Tooth. So combined, that's what, like 80 magic damage on hit on every auto attack? I mean, that stacks up very quickly, especially considering how much attack speed that Kayle's going to get. And of course, the cooldown reduction from Gnasher's Tooth is quite good too. Meanwhile, blue team actually does pick up an Infernal Drake. So let's actually go, before we go back to the top lane, let's go back and watch this, because this is kind of a key moment in the game here. Alright, so big setup for the Infernal Drake here. Myth is not part of this play, but let's keep an eye on what happens. So both teams clearly want this Infernal Drake. We've got Rek'Sai starting it up with Cog and Lulu to help out. Kayn is lurking in the wilderness, going to come in here, going to dash through the wall. This is not really safe. The enemy team should probably just jump on him and kill him, but look, Morgana's going to get engaged from one side, Ezreal's going to come in from the other side. They kill the Rek'Sai, get the steal on the Drake, Cogwell's going to fall, and yeah, that is a total cleanup right there. An outstanding result for Myth's team. LeBlanc's going to get away, but the damage has been done. And meanwhile, Myth even gets a kill on top, so let's go back and watch this. Again, I mentioned that Myth just got so much stronger as a result of hitting a level 11 and picking up the Gnasher's Tooth, so he is now much stronger than this Alawi, who is 0-3 on the game. So right there, going to slow with the Q, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, ward in the brush, and yeah, that was a little too easy. But that's the thing with Kayle, she is very good, as I mentioned, at chasing, and once she starts to get ahead, it is really difficult to deal with her. Now, in many games, Kayle is going to be bullied, she's going to be weak, she's going to be maybe camped by an enemy jungler, maybe she's just going to get jumped on by a lane bully, like maybe a Renekton or something like that. But if she manages to survive the laning phase, and she hits this point in time, level 11 with the Gnasher's Tooth, also picked up the Bilgewater Cutlass, building toward a Gunblade here. Like, if she hits this point, I mean, it gets scary in a hurry. You see how quickly and easily Myth is clearing these waves. No difficulty whatsoever, just auto, auto, auto. The flame waves come out from that Exalted passive, and everything just gets burned down in a real hurry. So, Myth is quite strong, and we're just getting started because we're only at 16 minutes, and Kayle's only going to get stronger from here. While Myth's killing the Scuttle Crab, let's take a look at the skilling order here. So I mentioned E seems to be the ability that you skill first, largely because you get that passive ability, the attack stealing bonus magic damage. It does, I believe it also lowers the cooldown on this ability. Again, it can be tricky to tell whether that's just the cooldown reduction from the Gnasher's Tooth, but I believe the cooldown goes down a little bit from the ability itself with more points in it, but I could be totally wrong on that. I did not look at the numbers on this before playing. Now we are going to have a fight here, so Rek'Sai's going to come in. This is going to be a 2v1, so let's see how Myth is able to play this. Guys, get smited by the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai's going to ult. You see the EUs on Alawi. Myth's trying to escape, but he's also auto-attacking here. He's going to ult himself for the invulnerability. Then he's going to finish off the Rek'Sai. Now he's looking to turn and kill Alawi. Alawi has ulted though. Myth is trying to kite this out, but no, just barely, not enough. He was like one auto attack away from getting that, so came really close, but that was a 2v1, and both of the enemy champs did use their ults there. Also, Alawi's looking to back. I was going to say she could maybe get that tower, but Kayn is in the area, and it looks like that was in fact the right call to just back there and not try to get this turret, so good game sense on the part of Alawi there. Still, Myth did basically 1v2 there and almost got the double kill, came very, very close to it, and has also managed to pick up a Gunblade now. So this does seem to be kind of the key build that people are going. They go for the Gnasher's Tooth first, that is the most important item on Kayle, and then build it into a Gunblade and a Rageblade, and those seem to be the three items. Gnasher's Tooth first, then either Gunblade or Rageblade, and then get whichever one you didn't get after that. I've also heard that going Death Cap is quite good on Kayle because she scales off of magic damage, and if you can get a Death Cap, then that just means her on-hit magic damage just kind of goes to the basically goes insane. I don't know if Myth is going to get that in this game or not. We'll have to wait and see. So he's got the Gunblade, he's got the Gnasher's Tooth. He is very, very strong, and he is strong enough that this Alawi really cannot sit in lane with him anymore. They're going to have to do, the enemy team is going to have to do what they did a minute ago, which is send multiple champions after Myth if they want to be able to kill him. Also note, it's just so much safer for him to clear these waves now that he's ranged. He doesn't have to get right up next to them. And Alawi does quite well against melee champions. She does not do nearly as well against ranged champions because it's much harder for her to pull off that test of spirit when people don't have to get right up in her face in order to hit the minions. So I was trying to talk about this before. Skilling order, E first, largely because you want that bonus magic damage on the passive. Doesn't hurt either that you get the next attack becomes ranged and deals percentage of the target's missing health. So that's nice too. Then Q after that, get the summoning on the sword. Also, by the way, there's no tower here, so yeah, Alawi's gonna have to flash away from Kayn. And she's going to actually grab Kayn, but probably not the best fight right there. There's the ult dropped onto Kayn to prevent him from being killed by Alawi, and then Myth cleans that up. So a good, nice example of using the Kayn ultimate, not on yourself, or, wow, Kayn and Kayle, getting confused here. Nice example of using the Kayle ult, not on yourself, but using it to save someone else on your team. Because I'm pretty sure that Alawi had enough damage to finish off Kayn there without that. Anyways, I was saying, so E first, then level up your Q to get the additional... It looks like the slow increases with more points. Armor and magic resist shred does not go up, but the Q with the... yeah, wow, okay. So Myth just polishes that off. It looks like the armor and magic resist shred does not go up, but the slow does increase with more points. And W is your 1-point skill. That's really all you need. You're mostly using it not for the health restoration, but to get that movement speed bonus. After that, after taking that tower in mid, now this team is looking to roam down here. There's 3 members of the red team who are pretty exposed here, and they may be able to pinch them in. Kayn is going to look to run through the wall with his ability. Let's see, can Kog'Maw and Rek'Sai and Lulu manage to get out of this? Oh, I like that black shield from Morgana. Going to be enough to block some of the damage. So we're going to see Rek'Sai melt immediately. A redemption coming out right there. I don't think it's going to be enough though, so Myth right now is just using those auto attacks, trying to chase. Kayn tanks a lot of the damage. 1 kill for Myth. Let's see, can he manage to finish off the Kog'Maw? He did get the black shield. He's going to finish off Lulu, or, well, Morgana finishes off Lulu. Looked like Kayle was just kind of shrugging there. Now LeBlanc has showed up, and she's going to finish off the Soraka, and I guess that's going to be the tail end of that. So overall, pretty good. Looks like that was a 3 for 2. I think they maybe could have done a little bit better than that, in all honesty, given the situation, how badly exposed red team was. But 3 for 2, not bad. More kills on Kayle, always a good thing. Myth was able to use the Gunblade slow to help out in that fight. Did pick up 1 kill, either 1 or 2 kills, and assisted on the rest. And this is what you want. You want your Kayle getting stronger. Kayle is super duper scaling champion, so more gold on Kayle is only going to help you out in the long run. Myth is up to 1.5 attack speed right now, and remember if he stacks his, or 1.6 attack speed, he picked up the recurve bow as well. Looks like he is building towards a Rage Blade, that one of the 3 core items on Kayle. Also has managed to max out his Dark Seal for right now. Pick that up as well, so he's got that a little bit of extra ability power and mana from off of that Dark Seal, so that's nice as well. And when he has his passive fully stacked with all 5 of the exalted stacks, he does go up to a little over 2 on his attack speed. Let's see, 1.97, so I guess it's a little under 2. Thought that was rounding up, it was actually rounding, or thought it was rounding down, it was actually rounding up. But with 2 attacks per second and getting this much bonus on hit magic damage, he's getting 90 from his passive, and then he's getting another 50. So what is he getting? Like 130, 140 bonus magic damage between those items. So yeah, Alawi's going to do her best. Alawi's going to ult right here. But again, look, the Kayle ult just blocks most of the damage from those tentacles. And then Myth is far enough ahead that, wow, got a little closer than I was expecting at the end there. And yes, those tentacles do a lot of damage, but Myth successfully uses the Kayle ult to block the worst damage that was coming in from the Alawi tentacles, and then he's able to lifesteal afterwards because he's got the Gunblade with that passive healing, the 15% of damage dealt. Now, unfortunately for Myth, the rest of his team is kind of dying here. Enemy team just went 4 for 0, so Myth, yeah, not in great shape here, and he probably looks to need to back. As long as he can see the enemy team, he's okay to keep pushing this, but as soon as they disappear, he needs to back because, like, he's strong, but he's not 1v5 strong, so he's got to be a little bit careful with what he does here. And in fact, the enemy team is taking this turret. I think the enemy team actually made a mistake. I think they should have run for Baron instead of looking to take that turret. Like, they don't have a Mountain Drake, but they do have double Ocean Drake, so they wouldn't be taking that much damage off of the Baron. And that might have been an opportunity to really snowball the game ahead. But instead, they took a turret, not the worst thing. And then Myth, unfortunately for him, has, instead of recalling, run into the middle of the enemy team. Now, granted, he didn't have vision here, but this is what happens. As strong as Kayle might be in like a 1v1 situation, Kayle is very fragile. She has to be protected. If she doesn't have her ult up, and she doesn't have a front line in front protecting her, she will die very, very quickly. And in fact, she's one of the best possible targets to focus in a team fight. So keep that in mind. Kayle, again, basically a ranged AD, and you just need to treat her as such. However, right there, this team is revived, and they are looking to make some nice plays here. They managed to pick off the support first, then they're going to get LeBlanc. Now Morgana is flanked and caught the Rek'Sai, and the only one left here right now is the Illaoi, who is outputting a ton of damage, but not enough. And so that is a 4 for 0. And now Myth's team really has the green light to go ahead and take this Baron, and honestly, I don't know why they haven't started it yet. It looks pretty free to me. They killed the whole enemy team. Kog is backing. Like, obviously they don't have vision on Kog, but like, what's he going to do? If he tries to run in 1v5, he's just going to die instantly. So I think that was a pretty significant mistake by Myth's team. I think they should have just done the Baron there. I do not think anyone on the enemy team could have stopped them. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to get this tower, but Baron is more valuable than this mid lane tower, in particular because getting the tower would make it trivial to claim this. Also, Kayle with Baron buff is absolutely disgusting because she can make use of both the AD and the AP scaling. I do want to mention, go back to Kayle's passive here, because Myth is about to hit level 16, and this is where Kayle just gets absolutely absurd. So we mentioned that level 11 is a huge power spike for her. She becomes ranged, and her exalted attack speeds per stack is increased. At level 16, she becomes permanently exalted, so she always is shooting out the fire waves. And it gets worse. The fire waves deal true damage. No longer do they deal magic damage, they now deal true damage. So your resistance isn't even helping you. Those waves are just outputting on, she's just sending out the fire waves on every single auto, and they're true damage, so there's nothing you can do to mitigate it other than stacking health. So Myth is about to hit 16, he needs like one more minion wave to do it. He's going to get jumped on here by the enemy team, so Lulu's going to polymorph, Illaoi's going to come out, a nice dodge right there on the Test of Spirit, and oh my god, the damage. And Myth has just dinged 16 off of that kill, by the way. You see the little graphical effect, so yeah, he is fully activated right now, and each one of his fire waves deals about a little over 100 damage, and that's 100 true damage. So yeah, something like 100 true damage on every single auto attack now. This is really disgusting, and it's only going to get more so as he keeps building items. Nice Black Shield coming out from Morgana. All those auto attacks just take down Illaoi, no trouble. Myth's still chasing, and he's going to use his ultimate right when he was about to die to the turret, so able to escape. Kog'Maw almost finishes him off, but not quite. Kog'Maw passive not enough, and gonna use the Kayle W to heal back up. That along with the Soraka, very, very nice for getting back up to full health. Redemption comes in, and oh look, Kayle is back up to full health again in like 10 seconds. So if you aren't able to finish off Kayle and she's this strong, it is not going to be pretty. Wow, we're going to see the Rek'Sai flash in to kill the LeBlanc clone, unfortunately. It's a nice use of the Black Shield from Morgana, though, so that's pretty nice. And they are going to get that inhibitor right here. So at this point, it might be able to finish off the game. The Kog'Maw is about to revive, and they don't have too many minions here. The minions are actually dying, so they're going to have to be a little bit careful, but it is 5 for them. It is a 5-on-4. However, you can't really push over the Nexus turrets without minions. Oh, Myth. Is he going to continue fighting this? Oh, that poor Kog. Nope, I thought he was going to die, but he does manage to escape. And, oh, but they're going to get the root over there onto the LeBlanc, but nope, not quite. Oh, and a nice tentacle from Illaoi is going to finish off the Kayn player. So it looks like they're just going to decide to back. They got a really good push, came super close to finishing the game. One more kill probably would have been enough to finish it, but they're not quite able to do so. So going to look to back and buy, and this is the safer play, to be perfectly honest. Out of continuing to try to end the game there, it is safer just to back here, take the next dragon as it spawns, grab this Cloud Drake, grab the Baron, which they still have not done and is pretty free for them, and then look to just finish off the game after that. Meanwhile, Myth has sold, he actually sold, what did he have there? Sold his Dark Seal and got an Infinity Edge. So I actually don't think Infinity Edge, from what I've been seeing based on the stats, I don't think Infinity Edge is that great. I believe that Death Cap is better because Kayle scales more off of ability power than off of attack damage. And unless you're going a dedicated crit build, the critical strike chance and the extra crit damage on Infinity Edge is not that great. So I believe Death Cap is better than Infinity Edge, but this is still pretty disgusting on the part of Myth. If you're looking at his fire waves are dealing, yeah, about 100 true damage, and he deals more bonus magic damage on his passive, and then he gets more bonus on hit damage from his Rage Blade when it's stacked up, and from his Nashor's Tooth. So all of this is pretty disgusting in terms of damage output. Again, he is frail, like, so don't get me wrong, Myth is quite frail. Like, if he didn't have his ult up, he definitely would have died there, but he did have his ult up, so he was easily able to finish that off. And the Black Shield, super duper nice. Oh, the lore! The Morgana and Kayle working together. We've got all the lore going on up in this game. But yes, Black Shield, very, very nice onto a Kayle player, much as you would drop a Black Shield on any other hyper carry like a Twitch or a Jinx or whatever in the late game. But if Kayle can't be crowd controlled, there's not a lot you can do about her because she puts out absolutely insane damage in the late game, and that's where Myth is right now. 15-3-3 on the game, 1,000 gold bounty on him, and just look what he does there to that poor Rek'Sai. That was just disgusting right there. So Myth is going to finish this one off in 28 minutes, and yeah, this was the Kayle hyper carry. This is what happens when she gets fed in a game. So thanks to Myth for sending this. This is a great example. I was hoping I would be able to get some Kayle footage from someone just because she's new, and I love to highlight the new champs because people are interested in finding out more about them. Really, really strong late game. She does absolutely insane damage if she manages to hit level 16 and get fed like this. And again, Kayle is not going to be 16-3-3 every game. Kayle is not going to be like 6,000 gold ahead of everyone on the enemy team at each game, so keep that in mind. But if she does get fed, I mean, it's virtually a game over, especially if you have a Protect the Kayle comp like they kind of did here. Morgana Black Shield, Soraka heals. Just keep Kayle alive in the fights, and she's going to murder everyone. And that's pretty much the long and short of it. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, hope you're having a good week. See you guys again soon. Until then, take care.